that is Itihas, that is history. Thus it happened. And we are reflecting on the Mahabharat. So let us sit straight, take a deep breath, head, neck, backbone straight. Let us withdraw our mind from all that has happened in the past, keeping only the learnings with us. Let us withdraw our mind from future anxieties, worries. What next is a destructive question for a spiritual sadhak. Present tensions and confusions. And let us take a deep, slow, conscious breath. Full breath. Most of the time we take 1/4 or half the breath. A still body, a quiet, alert mind, a clear, curious intellect is our Purushartha. This is what we must strive. This instrument is the ideal instrument for spiritual sadhana, studies, meditation, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasanam. Let us invoke God's grace, Guru Parampara's blessings, Ved Vyasji's blessings, and chant loudly together. Om. Om.
Om. Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavamani Tejasvinavaditamastu Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gajananam Bhutaganati Sevitam Kavittajambu Palasaravatritam Umasutam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwarapankajam Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimidandasya Jnanandalashalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Savaram Jangamam Yaptam Yatkinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव।
समस्त
नारायण
जन कल्याणे
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये।
समस्त जन कल्याणे
समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मवद्वरं। वसुदेव तो करेंगे।
ठीक है।
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम।
Hariom, thank you, Lata Rajshekharji. Hariom to all. So we are reflecting on one knowledge body that is called as Itihas. So Indic knowledge system has 4 knowledge bodies. First is Shruti, which is revealed knowledge, which talks about Dharma and Brahma, how to be happy here and hereafter, and how to realize our own nature as happiness. Very subtle concepts are there. Then the second knowledge body is Smruti. Bhagavad Gita is actually a Smruti, which is remembered knowledge. In scientific, our day-to-day language, it is applied knowledge of Dharma, how to apply. That's the reason if our definitions are not clear about God, Maya, Avidya, Brahma, Jagat, Jiva, mind, intellect, then Bhagavad Gita, when we listen, we don't, still the question remains what to do. The third is Puran. Puran is cosmic narratives about creation, about avatars, about sages, about kings. And there also Dharma is explained in the form of stories. Now what we are reflecting on is Itihas. Itihas is history. And the definition of Itihas is given in our Shastra. Very beautiful definition. Dharmartha Kama Mokshanam Upadesha Samanvitam. Very nice. Purva Vrutta Katha Yukta Itihasam Prachakshate. So that which narrates the events of the past and contains teachings about the 4 goals. People say, why to read Mahabharat now after 5,000 years? Because it gives case studies. Those who are into corporate world, when we explain the concept and application, the case studies are given. And then some stories are shared. And all these 4 actually are our requirement in day-to-day life. Suppose we live in a family, job, society or nation, we always expect that there must be fairness, rules must be followed, righteousness, that is dharma. All of us work or every action is done for prosperity and pleasure. I want to enjoy artha and kama. And then I want complete freedom. That is moksha. And that's the reason we are reflecting on Mahabharat, one of the biggest poetry. Yadi hasti tadanyatra. Whatever is found here may be found elsewhere. Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharat itself says. But whatever is not found here cannot be found anywhere. Yanne hasti na tat kochita. That is what is written in Mahabharat, that it is so big, so vast, such complex relationships, psychological chemistries, and dharma explained in various ways, because in Ramayana time, which is first itihas, what we have, it is very clear. Story is in one line. There is a bad man, there is a good man. The good man kills the bad man. Over. No confusion. But here now, when we are reflecting on Mahabharata, I am inviting all of you to see the complexity of dharma, complexity of duties. And when we actually go into that character, we will feel, yes, that character did right thing at that particular point of time. He had also a point of view. But at the same time, in Mahabharata, there is Bhagavad Gita. In Mahabharata, there is Bhishma discourse to Yudhishthir, which is very long, on administration, niti, on duties of citizen. Then in Mahabharata, Narad Muni's advice is there on administration. Then there is Vidura Niti. There is, after Bhishma gives up his body, Yudhishthir becomes very sad. Then Krishna again gives a small discourse called as Kama Gita. Then there is Vyada Gita, where the lady drives the monk to the right teacher. And then there is Yaksha Prashna. So these are dharmic discourses on dharma. We will touch base very briefly along with stories when that particular point comes. So last time we saw following things, that what is the significance of Mahabharat? It is the history of our lineage, history of the Bharat Raja. His lineage is Mahabharat. That is a story, that is a itihas. And why it is so great? Because he was Chakravarti, the world leader. He was prosperous, he was courageous, he was fair, he was righteous. The Praja was happy. And we saw the story of his parents, Dushyanta and Shakuntala. We also saw Shakuntala's parent story, Vishwamitra and Menaka. We also touch based a little point on Vishwamitraji and Vasishtha. And the great Ved Vyasji's parents, Rishi Parashar and fisherwoman Satyavati. Satyavati will again come now, soon in Mahabharata. The same Satyavati. So Bharat Raja ruled for many 100,000 years, and then 8th generation down the line, there is one king born, he is called as Shantanu. And now we come here and start our journey from Hastinapur. Shantanu is the king of Hastinapur. Again, like Bharat Raja, very handsome, very courageous, prosperous, Chakravarti, fair, righteous. The Praja is very happy. Now, also Praja is also having only one point to discuss now, that their Raja is not yet married. They are looking for a queen, and there is no Swayamvar happening. The Shantanu Raja, when we understand his psychology, he is an emotional person, emotive Raja. He sometimes goes out of his palace and kingdom and sits near Ganga River. And there he remembers his father, great grandfather. Maybe there is Samadhi there. So one day he went in the evening, beautiful evening was there, and he was sitting near the Ganges, So the Rajas are also contemplative. And suddenly he saw one very beautiful, pure, divine, pristine, beautiful girl. He immediately saw her and then he fell in love. Love is like that, it doesn't ask anything, no logic. Love has no logic. He told, I want to marry you, will you marry me? I am King Shantanu, I am the Chakravarti Samrat of this place. I have never seen you earlier. That beautiful girl also says, yes, I am ready to marry. I know you, but I have 4 conditions. Are you promising me? Then I am ready. He told, yeah. Whatever the conditions, I am a Chakravarti Samrat. What can I not give to you? So the 4 conditions, what that beautiful girl asks is this. First, she says, never ask, who am I? He says, okay. Second, never ask, where have I come from? He says, okay. Never ask, why did you do this? I am not answerable. Actually, there are people who get bored by being answerable to other. Fourth, very important one, I think this condition in marriages they should put. Never utter a word which will pain me. Never utter a word which will pain me. If you are fulfilling, promising me these 4 conditions, I am ready to marry. He is in love completely. He says, yes. And then they come back and he gets married in full fanfare in Hastinapur. The Praja is so happy looking at their newly divine, pristine, beautiful queen. Everyone forgets and doesn't ask who is she, what is she. Both are very happy. Hastinapur has got a queen. 1 year passes, she becomes pregnant, delivers a baby. And suddenly that baby disappears. Shantanu is very happy with her, but little sad. After again 1 year, another baby is born. Then he starts observing that she gets up at 12 o'clock, goes out with the baby and comes back empty handed, but he cannot ask. So we see 2 things here, that earlier in Dwapar Yug, kings and people used to give promises, but they used to keep it. But they used to give promises and do Bhishma Pratijna without thinking also. So now, this way, 7 years passed. He's very happy with her. She is the most respectful, decent, dignified, gracious. But this, he doesn't understand what is happening. He cannot ask because she has put 4 questions. 7th baby also she takes away. 8th baby comes. Now he gets restless. When the baby is born, he watches her at night. She gets up, starts walking. He also, without knowing her, starts walking behind her. She goes to the river where she had met him. She takes the baby and then she is about to throw the baby in the Ganges river. And he holds her hand and then says these 4 things. First, he says, you cruel woman. So I think the one condition is broken, that he has pained her heart. Second, why are you doing this? Where have you come from? Who are you? Cannot imagine a mother who is so beautiful, so nice, so gracious, so decent is doing such kind of act. She says, you had given me promise, that is broken. So now I have to leave and my job is over. This was my project. I will tell you who am I, but now the condition is that I will have to leave. I cannot come back with you. So she says, I am Ganga, Ganga river. I came from Swarga because I was ordered by Indra Bhagwan to come here for some time because there was a project to be done. What was the project? And why did you kill these innocent babies? What is the secret behind this? She says, these are not ordinary babies who you are seeing. These are Ashtavasus. They are very highly powerful. They are from Swargalok. So why did you do this? I don't understand. So the story is that these Ashtavasus are celestial entities like Yaksha, Kinnar, Gandharva, very powerful. 8 of them, and once they were doing Krida with their wives on Bhulok, on earth. They had come on earth. And one of the Vasu's wife sees Nandini, the same Nandini where Kaushik Raja had got tempted and he wanted, he didn't get. So they say that Bala Hatta and Stri Hatta is very difficult to fulfill. Even Sita ji in Ramayana, I want that golden deer. See, Ramji says in Valmiki Ramayana that there is no deer which is golden, made of gold. But that dialogue, are very interesting. Sita ji says, nothing doing. If I don't get the deer, then if you're not able to get, then let me know. If deer is killed, then I want the gold skin, but I want it. And she tells lot of things to Lakshmanji also. So in Valmiki Ramayana, there is no Lakshman Resha and all. So in the same year, in the same context, this one of the wives says, I want that Nandini cow. The Vasu says, no, it belongs to Vasishta ji. We cannot bring it to Swarga. It is come from that Samudra Manthan. She said, no, I want it. And they all go, he convinces, other Vasu says, no, it is not appropriate to rob that and bring. But they follow him. And then Nandini cow is taken when Vasishta Rishi is not there in the ashram. Vasishta Rishi comes back and they see that these Vaishnavas are taking the Nandini. He immediately curses them. Bring the Nandini back. And I curse you that you will be born on Bhulok. That is your curse, your celestial body. So now we have to remember that the curse which is given to the Swarga entities are born on Bhulok. Then they all pray that we are very sorry. Please, take back your curse. He says, no, I cannot take back my curse, but I will give you another boon that the moment you are born, you will die. So you don't have to spend more time on Bhulok. But the 8th one who actually was responsible for taking this Nandini cow, his name is Prabhasa. He will have to live longer and fulfill and go through a lot of difficult situations, and he will face the same situations throughout his life. What is that situation? That he will know what is adharma, but he will be in the part of. He will know what is dharma, but he will be siding adharma. He knew that taking Nandini cow was not appropriate, but he took it. And he will suffer for it. So, and that is the 8th one, Ganga says. He is Prabhasa. And she says that I am taking him back now, but I will return him to you when the time is right. And she disappears. So now Shantanu Maharaj comes back, wife gone, son gone, but one happiness is there. So we can see Shantanu's life, it revolves between sadness and happiness. Happy sadness, sad happiness. So now every day, every second day, he goes to Ganga river and then sits, remembers his wife, waits, comes back. And one day when he's that way, contemplating and seeing Ganga river and imagining his wife's son, suddenly the river water stops. He's surprised that how come the river water is stopped. Then he sees that before some distance there are a bunch of arrows which have come. And there is from other side, there is one boy standing and he has stopped the Ganga river. This is not ordinary feat. So he says, why are you doing this? Who are you? And then the moment he says, Ganga appears before him. That he is your Prabhasa and his name is Bhishma. He is the most powerful because he is not from Bhulok. This we have to make a point. Huh? He is Vasu. He is not a entity born on the Bhulok. And he is your young son. And you can take him. Thank you very much. So they both meet for the last time. Shantanu and Gangaji disappears and Shantanu becomes very happy, brings his young son back to Hastinapur and then he declares him as Yuvraj. And Bhishma, because he is Bhishma Pita, Bhishma, very powerful, all the kings are scared of him, unbeatable. He has got a boon of Ichha Marana. He's got all weapons. And she tells him that his knowledge is like Brihaspati, his power is like Shukracharya, and he has learned the warfare from Parshuram. He's unbeatable. And then his name is Devavrat. Later on it becomes Bhishma, his name is Devavrat. So both are very happy. Continues, Shantanu is very happy, but again, the Praja is again talking about Queen is missing. Shantanu also is missing a companion. So one day he goes to Yamuna river. The Yamuna river is little far off. And when he goes there, maybe in the forest for hunting or some retreat, he suddenly smells beautiful fragrance coming. And he follows that fragrance and comes across again a beautiful divine beauty. He asks us, who are you? Where this fragrance is coming from? And she is the same Satyavati who has gotten boon from Rishi Parashar that I am a fisherwoman, I will give you this boy, but you are going to go away and I will remain like that. So he says, no, your virginity will remain and you will be most fragrant. And then he says, okay, marry me. He says, you ask my father. So Shantanu Raja goes to her father, Dashraja. His name is Dashraja. He says, yes, I can give my daughter to you. I know you are the Chakravarti Samrat of Hastinapur. This world belongs to you. But again, I have a condition. What condition? The son born out of Satyavati will become the king. He says that is not possible because I have already declared Devavrata as the Yuvraj of. He is the most eligible, he is the most powerful. He says, then I cannot do anything. Then Shantanu comes back, refuses and comes back. And as there is a heartbroken, today in most colleges, when there is relationship break, then one starts drinking, one gets depressed, and there are many movies on it. Devdas movie, there are two Devdas movies. So Shantanu becomes Devdas, doesn't eat, is not attending Rajya Darbar. Now Devavrat notices this, that my father is not, in his elements. He asks him, and what can he say? Actually, now the marriage should be of Devavrat. She is going to be crowned as, but that is Mahabharat. So he doesn't say anything. Then he finds out, he goes to the charioteer. He thinks that father went out in Yamuna side and from after coming back from there, he is like this. So something has happened at Yamuna river. So he catches that charioteer and says, where you had taken my father? Take me there. The charioteer says, I know where he had gone, but there what happened, I do not know. So there he takes exactly that spot where Shantanu gets down. So Devarath also gets down and suddenly he also gets the same smell. He knows this is the smell my father would have followed. He follows and meets Satyavati. And he asks her, did Shantanu met you? She says, yes. So he says, I am his son, Devrat. Can you tell me what happened? She narrates the entire story and she takes him to her father, Dasharaja. He says, what happened? Can you tell me why my father is depressed? He says that your father wants to marry Satyavati. She will be your mother. And I put one condition that her son will become the king of Hastinapur. And he told, no, no, that is you. You are crowned as the Yuvraj, next Yuvraj. He told, oh, that much. Then don't worry. I will promise that I will not marry. Dasharaja says, no, 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 wait. I have to give one more condition to you. Her son will become the king. That is number one condition. But second condition that tomorrow, suppose you marry and your wife gets a son and she says that my son has to become the king, then you are more eligible. Praja will accept you. As per the law, you are the eldest. And then there is this big moment comes of Devrat announcing to the universe, and it seems he announces that I will remain Ajamna Brahmacharya. One promise he makes. What is second is very important. He could have made only one, but second is the problem. He says that I owe unwavering commitment to Hastinapur because Dasharaja says that tomorrow you may attack Hastinapur because nobody can beat you, we know. So two promises he makes, two pratidnyas, and this becomes the Bhishma Pratidnya that I will not marry and I owe my unwavering commitment to Hastinapur. Now that is where the whole Mahabharat starts happening because he has to now be committed to Hastinapur. He doesn't realize that what kind of kings are going to come. So Bhishma gets bound by his own pledge, becomes helpless. What is the learning? Very important for all of us. Vow must have flexibility. If it is, and what flexibility it must have? It must be flexible with dharma. Krishna tells him later on in the Yuddha the same thing, that vow must serve the dharma. This is what Krishna tells Bhishma. And Krishna tells that I can take 100 vows but break 100 vows where dharma comes. And Krishna also is ready to break his vow in Mahabharat war. He promises, takes a pratidnya that he will not take up the Shastra. But when Arjun is not killing Bhishmacharya, he says, I will take Sudarshan Chakra and kill myself if you are not ready to kill. And that is a difference between yada yadai dharmasya, because when dharma comes, then everything is okay. But then what is dharma? That is to be understood. So we are learning Mahabharata. So right, wisdom, righteousness, freedom, flexibility is dharma, and then that vow must not go against dharma, and that is what life we saw of Devavrat, who is called as Bhishma Pitama, that he was there in Darbar where Draupadi Vastaran happened. He was the party when Lakshagra happened. He was the party when Dyuta Krida happened. Couldn't do anything because he has taken a vow. He was not ready to change his vow. And on that basis, Duryodhan was becoming arrogant and arrogant because he knew till Bhishma Pratap Pitama is there, no one can attack Hastinapur. So now Satyavati becomes the queen, comes to Hastinapur. People are very happy. Shantanu is very happy. Devavrat also is happy because he is serving his father, he is serving his nation. Satyavati earlier has one son, Ved Vyasji. He lives in forest. He is a Rishi. Now she and Shantanu gets two sons. So now very important in Mahabharat and Ramayana comes. Having sons is very important because not because of gender, but they have to rule. They have to fight. Such a large kingdom is there and fights are always happening. So she gets two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitra Virya. Chitrangada, when he becomes little young, he is killed in a battle with Gandharvas. Vichitra Virya is crowned as the next king, not Devavrat. Vichitra Virya also is in the same lineage of Shantanu. Courageous, unbeatable Chakravarti. Now he has to get married. So now Praja starts asking that we want to get new queen. So in Hastinapur, the news comes that Kashi, now currently Varanasi, that king of Kashi is arranging a Swayamvar. Now very interestingly, Bhishma Pitama goes there. Now we have to remember in Swayamvar, the rule is that one who wins takes the girl or the queens. So the king of Kashi has three daughters, Amba, Ambalika and Ambika. So when Bhishma Devavrat goes there, there are so many kings want to marry three of them, but nobody comes forward. The moment they see Devavrat Bhishma, no one comes forward except one king. Shalya Raja comes and says, I want to fight, whoever wins takes. And in 2 minutes, Shalya Raja is defeated. Not much fight, because where is Bhishma, where is Devavrat, and where is Shalya Raja? So Bhishma brings Amba, Ambalika and Ambika. So Ambalika and Ambika agrees to marry Vichitra Virya. Amba says, I will not marry. I will not marry Vichitra Virya. Then he says, I want to meet Bhishma Pitama. So Bhishma Pitama says, yes. He says, I don't want to marry Vichitra Virya because I am in already love with Shalya Raja. So Bhishma Pitama says, okay, I will send you back royally. So Bhishma arranges royal send-off to her. She goes back to Shalya Raja and says that I have come back. I have already told Bhishma Pita he will not do anything. Shalya Raja says, no, I cannot marry you now because I have been publicly defeated, and as the king's rule, a defeated king cannot marry a girl now. I love you, but I cannot marry you. She requests. Shalya says, no, this is insulting to me that after defeating also, if I marry you. She comes back. Vichitra Virya comes to know, he says, now I don't want to marry Amba because her heart is with Shalya. She again goes back to Shalya Raja. He says, no, I cannot marry you. Vichitra Virya is not marrying you. You marry Bhishma because he actually won you. He should not have come. So she again comes back and says, I want to marry you because you have won me. I don't understand anything. You have won me and you have brought me here. Both kings have rejected me. The pain of rejection, now we have to pay attention. Pain of rejection is very, 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 very deep. For a young girl or a boy, or rejection is not very, even we cannot handle any no. What we are scared of in life is to hearing a no. Even for Chinmay mission, we have to ask money. No, 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 I cannot ask money, because if somebody says no, but you're not asking for yourself. Here the girl is openly rejected in public by two kings. Now this is very important. Bhishma refuses and Amba pledges there itself before Bhishma that I will be responsible for your death. I pledge. Bhishma says, sorry, but I cannot do whatever you are wishing, because I am already bound by my own pratijna. Now this portion is, highlighted in different Puranas, which is not there in Mahabharat. But I'll just mention in 30 seconds. She goes to Kartikeya, who is the Senapati of gods. He gives us a garland that whoever wears this and fights against Bhishma, he will be the winner, but nobody is ready to wear. Then she goes to Parshuram. Parshuram also says, he's my Shishya. Then in some Puranas, they say Parshuram and Bhishma had a fight and then Parshuram lost, but that is not there in Mahabharata. Because Avatar cannot lose. Then she goes to Shivji. This is there that Shivji says, this life you cannot take revenge. That is not in your karma. Next life you will take the revenge from Bhishma. The moment she hears this, she enters fire. Because she doesn't want to live, because she is burning with revenge, burning with pain. And she is born now, very important, that story will come. She is born in Drupad house. You know who is Drupad Raja? Drupad Raja is the father of Draupadi. And she is born as Shikhandini. Her name is Shikhandini. As she starts growing up, she starts learning Astra Shastra, and she grows up and there is some small war happening. She says, I want to go. Her father and brother says, no, you cannot go till myself and your brother is there. First, we will have to go and then you will follow. Girls cannot fight just going alone. She says, then my purpose is not served here. And Drupad is very, very strong, very big empire, Drupad empire. She is not interested in all empire and all wealth and palace. She immediately leaves the palace, goes in the forests and does tapas. And she does tapasya, very strong tapasya, and she invokes one yaksha. Not a devata, or not Shivji, Brahmaji or Vishnuji. Sthuna Karna, that name of the yaksha is there. And then that yaksha becomes prasanna. She asks, what boon you want? She says, make me a man, because I cannot fight. And now Shikhandini becomes Shikhandi, who is half man, half woman. Now we will see later on what is shown in Chopra's Mahabharat, that Shikhandini comes in front and Bhishma stops. Nothing like that. We will see when that war happens. Bhishma keeps fighting. What is the learning from this very, very, very important Amba story? Intense pain, public rejection can become the purpose and a powerful karmic moment in the next life. Those who cannot do anything, when the mighty exploits the meek, that is adharma, and the meek cannot do, but that pain, that I cannot do anything. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, today also it is happening. The king, people who have power and they exploit or take advantage of the meek, they cannot do anything in this life. But if that person goes with that pain, an intense pain, that pain comes back in the next life. So that is a very important thing. Intense pain can become purpose and create powerful karmic births for a person. For that one revenge, the person will take birth. Other person may not even realize that the person has done some cruelty, but this person, that thing remains. And that is a story of Amba. And we will take up this story when now he has become Shikhandi, and how Drupad Raja comes in the side of Pandavas, that we will see. So here Vichitravirya marries Ambika and Ambalika and dies without children, no children. Now, as we already discussed, that Kshatriyas must have son, daughters who can take ahead the generation, because such a large empire. So now Satyavati, Vichitravirya's mother, there is one arrangement which is discussed in detail in our Shastra called as Niyog. If the husband and wife are not having children, then they can go into arrangement of Niyoga. Niyoga means another woman or another man is called, and without that certain processes, and then without meeting, the man or the woman has no right over the child. So Satyavati calls her son Vedvyasji, and Vedvyasji is sitting in forest with Jata, Jatadhari and all this beard, and he is a Rishi, forest man. He comes because mother's order. No argument, no talking. He comes, and Ambika, when she sees Vedvyasji, she closes her eyes, and Dhritarashtra is born blind. Ambalika becomes very pale, feels dull, doesn't get excited. Pandu is born. Pandu means little whitish. Satyavati is not very, she wants one more. So she requests Ambika's maid. And that Ambika's maid is very happy to serve Vedvyasji, and Vidurji is born. Wise, intelligent, Jnani. So now, very interestingly, people still ask whether, Sri Ramji and Sri Krishna was there, 100% there. If now those who are still having a doubt can go and read all other religions. Their religions were written down. Some book was written after 200 years, 300 years, 1000 years after the main prophet or somebody passed away. Half of our earth is Christian. Jesus was born through Virgin Mary. Science cannot prove. But he is considered as a historical figure, not mythological figure. And here our own Hindus doubt whether Sri Ramji was born, whether Sri Arjun was born, and whether Yudhishthira was there. How can they are born? Karna was born through Kunti. That story we will see. So here half of the religion believes that Jesus was born through Virgin Mary without a father. This is very much possible, historical. Pandu becomes the king. Now this is where the whole jealousy starts. Dhritarashtra is elder, but he is blind. But Pandu is made the king, and Pandu becomes very powerful, Chakravarti. So now both become king, and both again had to be married. So now Dhritarashtra wants to get married or has to be married. So now, very interestingly, now we have to make a note and remove the myths. And there are a lot of stories around this. From where they have come, we do not know. Bhishma hears that the news comes that Kandahar, where current Afghanistan is there is one girl is there. She has done tapas of Shivji. And she has got a boon of 100 sons. See, now very importantly, we are discussing in this episode, in this session, that having son for a large empire is very important, otherwise empire is gone. Now Bhishma thinks that 100 sons means my empire is protected. So I want this girl. So now very important. Bhishma Pitama goes there, he talks to her father, Suban. Just imagine that this Gandhar is touching the entire empire of Hastinapur. He says that Dhritarashtra needs to get married and he is blind. Now Suban is hesitating to tell to his daughter, but Gandhari hears it. And now, very importantly, Gandhari knows that Dhritarashtra is blind, number one. Before Suban can ask her, because he is hesitating to ask, she says, I am ready to marry. Unilateral decision she takes. Some people gave the story that she is Manglik and she was married to a goat and she doesn't want to marry and her entire Gandhar clan was unhappy and then Shakuni came and then Bhishma put them into jail and then there's all his father and brothers were killed and then Shakuni is not even Lagda. Shakuni is not Langda in all this. This is all Bial Chopra's Mahabharat dramatization. And Shakuni is the main culprit in Mahabharat who wanted to wipe out Kuru dynasty. Nothing is there of this kind of thing in Vyasa's Mahabharat. Actually, Suban and Gandhari's father and Gandhari's brothers fight in the war. All the names are there. In the Mahabharat war, Gandhari's father fights along the side of Duryodhan. His brothers' names are also there. So nothing of that kind of happened. Gandhari, now very important. Now we come to Gandhari. Gandhari comes. Before she comes, she says that my husband is blind. She says, my husband will not see me. I take a vow that I will be blindfolded. I will also not see him. So she also doesn't see him before marriage, before going there. And Gandhari is very, very tapasvi. She guides Dhritarashtra many times. And Gandhari comes there and she follows her tapasya of being blind. Now I just want to cover one main character which is not much discussed. So that is Gandhari for us. And she remains in her tapasya of being blindfolded. As Dhritarashtra will live his life, I will live as a blind person. She opens the flip only twice. Once to give Duryodhan a body like iron before the war, but he wears some leaves that Krishna tells him, so his thigh gets vulnerable. Otherwise, Duryodhan would have become cannot be killed. And also in the last, when the war is over, when Yudhishthir is going to take her Ashirwad, Krishna warns him that don't stand before her completely. Stay away from her gaze. And Gandhari little bit opens her, it is written in Mahabharata, little bit opens her flap and her small rays falls on Yudhishthir nails and the nails get burnt. That is the power of Gandhari. And she is the lady who curses Krishna in the last. Pandu gets married to Kunti. Now what is the time? Kunti, I want to take 5 minutes. In the next session, we will see. Because about Kunti, very few things are known. And still people say that, she is held responsible for Karna's birth and leaving him like that in water. So when we understand Kunti's story, we will see who was Kunti. One of the brilliant characters of Mahabharata is Kunti. Not much is known about Kunti's birth and where she lived. It is a fascinating thing. And how she actually, being a queen, lived in forest most of the time. So what happened to Pandu? Pandu got married to Kunti, and then Pandu also got married to Madri, who was very beautiful. So Kunti had to live with another woman. But Kunti's grace is, we must discuss for some time, that how she is considered as a warrior mother, dutiful wife, very obedient daughter-in-law. She was considering Dhritarashtra and Gandhari as her father-in-law and mother-in-law. Very beautiful relationship of Draupadi and Kunti throughout. Best mother-in-law. And we will see one or two very interesting aspects about Kunti, where her character goes to one of the best characters in Mahabharata is Kunti. And what we will see what is her relationship with Krishna and how she is the mother who earlier in the last episode we saw that Shakuntala is the mother of Bharat Moksha. Kunti is the mother of the Pandavas and what Pandavas do and Draupadi does. And her decisions, her advices to Yudhishthira, one or two we will mention, that shows her, takes her to the next level as a human being. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.